Trinity Health's new medical campus in Southwest Minot has been in the making for the past 15 years and in construction for the past 5. We're getting a first look inside this state-of-the-art facility. Crystal Quao was part of a special media tour of the new campus, and she joins us with more. Crystal?
Good evening, Joe. The new campus is quite the sight to see. I went behind the scenes to view areas that patients and the general public don't usually have access to when the hospital is fully functioning. The new hospital smell filled the spaciousness with excitement. Thomas Warsaki, VP of Physician Services, says OBGYNs are currently in 4 different Trinity locations, and some of them have to drive to make childbirth deliveries.
Awesome concept.
They're all going to be together. And what you're also going to see is they're on the same floor.
Infection reduction.
Staff will begin to have convenient access to the 12 labor and delivery rooms and 22 neonatal intensive care units.
This is the triplet room.
There is also an area specifically for triplets.
It's exciting.
Karen Zimmerman, Chief Nursing Officer, says the facility's design was inspired to be more aesthetically pleasing. 147 beds filled the hospital. Patients and their visitors have more privacy. For example, there are now bereavement rooms and private bathrooms for patients and visitors.
Very nice.
Most people don't wake up and hope they end up in the ER or hope they end up in a hospital bed. But when they get here, we want that environment to be calming, private, healing.
Scott Knutson commended staff for their insights into the new hospital. He says across the Trinity facilities in the area, they see thousands of patients a day.
This is tasked on top of people that already have full-time work.
More windows have been added. Their new MRI machine takes 40% less screening time. 16 registration stations have been added to help with the check-in process. Warsaki says when the campus opens, patients should arrive 20 minutes early for check-in. Other Trinity locations around the city will remain open. The official opening date is unclear right now. Lastly, their open house at the new hospital is this Saturday from 11 to 2 p.m. Joe?
Oh, very exciting. Crystal, thank you for that report.